Okay, this is a very, very exciting moment. My first time at the Vernon Health Fest. I am here in the auditorium, and lo and behold, there's a grand piano. And I think it's quite appropriate that there is a piano here, as music has been the most central thing to my existence in this lifetime. My soul expression comes through my piano playing, and I'm getting emotional. I always get emotional. We are living in an unprecedented time where there is so much potential for joy, for love, for light, for abundance and prosperity. It is a time of awakening. It is a time of remembering, and it is a time of expressing truth. And we all came here to this planet at this time carrying a seed of truth, our unique seed of truth that is our piece of God that we share with God within us. God is within us, God is everywhere, but God is also this central collection of consciousness, of the source, of the spirit, of the light, and we are carrying that within us. And each unique expression is a gratitude when it is expressed, giving back and giving back to God what God gives us, our gift. Unfortunately, there are forces that want to separate us, that want to diminish us, that want to silence us. And I don't want to go into politics, but you know what's going on. Especially what's close to my heart is what's going on in Florida with the anti-gay legislation, and in Tennessee with the anti-trans and anti-drag. All that, there's terror, because when someone finds their truth, their seed, which may actually be realizing they were born in an incorrect gender, when they find that seed and they express it fully, there's power in that, and that power is what those dark forces is afraid of. And it's because it's not power that seeks dominion over others. It's the power of the truth. It's the power of the light. And so my truth and my light and my seed, or one of them, is my piano music. Since I was a kid, I begged my parents for piano lessons, and I got to get them when I was 8, and soon thereafter I was performing and composing. And although I'm not like on the world stage yet with my music, because it's always been in the background as I have to live and do that, but here's a piano, and I haven't prepared, but I'm going to play. And then I'll talk about sound healing, and then I'll talk about crystals, and then I'll talk about energy healing, and why this is all happening, and what we can do about it, and resources. So, let's see. This is okay. So I'm going to play 2 pieces. I'm sorry, you're blocking. Here, I'll move this. There we go. Everyone knows. Okay. Perfect. All right. I need an assistant, videographer. All right. So this first piece is on my first album that I self-produced. It's called My Nameless Love, and it's actually one of the first pieces I ever really was proud of. I wrote it when I was 15, and we'll see if I forgive my mistakes. And I haven't touched this piano, so. And I hope this annoys the people there. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little rusty on the piano. You go through the other piece after when I end. Yeah. So, because one thing that I've come to discover about my music is it creates geometric structures, and those structures are what really allows light to inhabit. And music, classical music especially, Mozart, all the great classicals, Haydn, their music is called absolute music, and it really is very pure expressions of the sound, organized at very sophisticated ways to create these complicated structures, geometric structures that can transform consciousness. This isn't supposed to be a lecture on sound healing and music theory and everything. It could be, but I don't want it to go over your heads because everyone has a different baseline of what they understand about music and music theory, and I don't want to be speaking Greek to people. But when I play that piece, so much energy is flowing through me and out and healing people as an expression. It's like a link to my soul, as I said earlier. And part of my challenge is to stay grounded enough to finish the piece without ending up like this. So, and it wasn't really performance anxiety I discovered, it's that I just create these portals where I'm bringing in the higher vibrations and I'm bringing them in through the veil into this world and into your hearts. And the first time I ever really performed in front of a group of consciously enlightened people was she became a very good friend of mine. Her name is Dr. Lori Moore, and I ended up getting this gig driving down to Santa Cruz, and I played some pieces from my first album called Behind the Surface, which is at my booth. And when I walked in, there was a bunch of random people. I play my stuff. They were just amazed, and then people were telling me of all these experiences, all these journeys, all these visions they had. And then I look around and I see everyone's higher self. I see angels, I see fairies, I saw a leprechaun, I'm pretty sure, some extraterrestrials, some elementals. Suddenly, they weren't just humans, it was their human and their higher expression. Their higher self was very much aligned with them. And in fact, that's one thing that's happening with us all now. The Earth, going back to the topic of my talk, the Earth's core frequency is rising. And what does that mean? It means everything that's on Earth and of Earth, which includes us, our frequency is rising as well. And this is at the atomic level. It's just escalating, it's rising. And you can consider the dimensions, the third dimension. The fourth dimension is essentially time, and then the fifth dimension, and then the sixth and seventh, and I won't go much farther than that. But they're like those thermometers that have these little bulbs, right, of oil, and they kind of separate based on the temperature and their buoyancy. So we've got the ceiling of the third dimension, right? And that's here, and Earth is here, and she's just going up like this. So we're here also, and we're going up. And I was just talking a couple nights ago after my sound healing in Farmington, how it's like we're like in one of those old houses from the 1600s, and you go into the second floor and you have to hunch over because for some reason they made their ceilings really short, right? Were they smaller back then? I don't know. But if you drop from your head into your heart, you have all this more real estate where you can pop up through the veil and you can kind of see with your third eye and your intuition, your awareness, what's actually already going on in the fifth dimension. As Earth is rising her frequency, she's forcing us, in a sense, to become more awake and aware and live fifth dimensionally while we're still here in the third dimension. And that can be very exciting for a lot of people, opening up spiritual awakenings, Kundalini awakenings, psychic stuff. Oh my goodness, look at all this fun stuff. But then there's people that are either clueless or not interested or downright resisting for whatever reason. And it's like we have these beautiful waves of consciousness, and we can be riding the wave like a surfer on a surfboard, or we can be running from the wave, or we can be pulled into the undertow. These are kind of cheesy metaphors, but it's really real. If you have pollution in your body, toxins, physical, heavy metals, emotional, grudges, from your personal life, those things weigh you down. And what happens is you're being inhibited from naturally, gracefully accelerating your vibration, which in turn accelerates your spiritual growth. You're bogged down. You've got that cement tied around your ankle, right? And you're drowning. And this is where these weird diseases come, like fibromyalgia, all this excess energy that your physical body can't assimilate creates these weird diseases. Cancer has been referred to as the disease of anger. If there's any anger, I have found so much transformational magic occur simply through the process of forgiveness. It's alchemical. I was even at the Hawaiian sacred site, the heiau of the Ho'oponopono. There's an actual sacred site in Hawaii where that whole forgiveness prayer originated from, and I had the wonderful opportunity of being there and having a profound experience. I use that extensively in my healing practice with people. You know, just a real side note, one of my clients came in, I was a new client, and I said, I want you to invite all of your ancestors. And she did, or so I thought. And I'm not a medium, I'm not going to do that, but ever so often, an ancestor will come in and get my attention for whatever reason, because it's urgent and for the healing. And I said, I'm sensing grandfather energy. And she chuckled, and I said, what's so funny? She said, that's the only ancestor I didn't invite. And I was like, well, he's here and he's got a bouquet of flowers, so let's talk about it. She had resentments. And so I said, you have to heal. He actually came from the spirit realm to help her heal and release him, because she was holding on to him. He wasn't able to fully pass into the light because she had not forgiven him. And it doesn't matter the who, the what, the why, and the where. What matters is the forgiveness. So we worked through that. He thanked her, and then there was a tingle, and he went on his way, and she had a breakthrough. And she's lighter now, and she's able to continue or join in with this flow of vibration. So, yeah. So sound healing it's very interesting because it works on the molecular level. We can feel it. Unlike some people can feel crystal energies and even energy, but it's very subtle. But sound, you can definitely feel. And sound has a wonderful property of organizing and structuring matter, as I mentioned earlier with my music. The classical music or music in general is quite sophisticated, but the sound, like for example, of a crystal bowl, it's quite simple, right? There is one dominant pitch. Everyone can hear that, right? When you are exposed to a dominant frequency for a period of time, all the other frequencies organize around it and create unification, create alignment, create grounding. And what happens when you're aligned and everything is in alignment? Everything that's not in alignment falls away. It just breaks away. Or it becomes revealed and exposed as something that doesn't belong. And I use crystal bowls with my voice on a daily basis to cleanse my energy, primarily because there is so much crazy energy flying around, emotional energy. There's a lot of triggers, right? Someone does something and you get really mad. You don't really know why. It's probably not them. It's something from your childhood. Those of us who have done a lot of self-work understand that behind a trigger is a wound, right? And that's where compassion comes. You need to look beyond the immediate emotional trigger and have compassion for the wounded person that is behaving that way and attacking you, but it's really not you. But that anger was there, and you can't yell at them unless you want to break out in a fist fight. Or if it's your boss, you don't want to get fired. So what do? Okay, let's just put that inside of us somewhere, right? You bury or you bottle that emotion inside of you, and that gets stagnant. It creates a magnet for stress, and it compiles. It's like energetic constipation, right? It's there. Some people don't even know. These things happen in childhood. With sound, when you find the right frequency, it can agitate that energy, free it up, and release it and transmute it. Again, emotional energy is one of those toxins that weighs us down. So a lot of the work that I do with sound is teaching people how to use their voice to diagnose and to release those energies within their system. And it doesn't have to be an old wound or blockage. It can be just the daily nonsense, right? Imagine this. Imagine our energy fields, right? We all have an aura, right? Your auras are intermixed. Your auras are intermixed. My aura is probably, I have a big aura. You're probably all inside my resonant field right now. And what happens is our auras are exchanging energy, right? But what if there was some attachment or some negativity or some hostility that got stuck in someone's aura and they brought it in here inadvertently, right? Well, that negativity can hopscotch and piggyback and end up in someone else's aura, and someone who's empathic might feel uncomfortable, might feel unsafe, might feel agitated, and they don't know why. It's because some other energy came in on someone else and they're sensing it. The level of energetic responsibility that I like to convey is one of impeccability, right? We have to be responsible for our field because we don't really know who's sensitive enough to be negatively affected by something. Because again, the energies are rising and we're all becoming more sensitized and attuned to these subtle energies. That's one reason that there's so much chaos in the world, is because people are starting to feel what's uncomfortable because other people are lazy with their transmutation of their energy. For knowing or not, they just are. They just don't know, right? So I like to tone to clear my energy. Sound transmutes instantly. And if you watch my live videos, sometimes I'm driving to and fro, I just start to tone. And I do it as a meditative practice that goes deeper and deeper, and I release deeper and deeper stuff. So by the time that I'm done, my field is completely clear of foreign energy. Anything that I might have picked up along the way, like a sponge, like walking through the shopping, this place here, right? Walking through lots of chaotic energy accumulating. It's good to just periodically sit back and cleanse yourself energetically. And there's so many ways to do that. Toning is my preferred way. Also energy, smudging, you get the idea. I don't need to list the things. We're a pretty knowledgeable group here. I see smiles and nods. So I'm just gonna ask, is there any questions right now? Yes?
So when you listen to a tone, how long should you listen?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like a CD that you put on?
I listen to a CD on repeat until I get sick of it. It's like, how long do you eat the Oreo cookies until you put the thing away, right? There's a certain amount of saturation that occurs that's individually based. There are some technologies that will map out the frequencies in your voice and prescribe tones for you. And I would suggest that if it's some frequencies that your body or mental body or emotional body or behavioral body do not provide, then it's almost like a vitamin, right? I have a B vitamin deficiency because of a medication I'm on, so I have to take B vitamins. So it might be an ongoing thing, or it might not. It depends on your reasons for doing that.
Sometimes I have like 10 minutes in between clients, and I'm like, is that enough time to like just sit and listen to something to clear?
I would personally recommend embodying the sound, which is far more impactful, because again, sound vibrates at the molecular level. So unless you have a really strong sound system, having a faint music in the background won't really provide the clearing that you might want to reset yourself. So but if you have a physical bowl, even a Tibetan bowl, I'm not going to talk about the differences about them now. If you have a bowl, just 10 minutes is ample. You can do an experiment. Just notice, assess the energy in your body and the energy in this room right now. Okay? I'm simply going to play this bowl for, I'm going to count, I don't know, maybe like 60 seconds or something. Okay? First, a moment of silence.
Notice how you feel. Notice any difference in the energy of the room. This is quite a challenging space to do this demonstration for two reasons. It's a huge room, and there's that constant source of energetic distraction out there. But in your office, this would be completely immersive. Now, I'm going to do the same thing but add my voice. And again, I have been developing my voice as a healing tool consciously since 2006, but unintentionally my entire life. And I'm happy to announce I'm part of another collaborative book that's going to be published on the summer solstice called Bites of Light. And in that book, I talk about my journey of awakening into my vocal sound healing. It's a really, really fun read. And at the end of it, I have a link to a toning session that you can work on starting to develop your voice as a tool for your personal well-being. Because we all have one, they're free, and they're always around us. Can't escape your voice. So I'm just going to demonstrate now a little more power with the voice. Because once you're making a sound, you're embodying it, and that's much more effective than passively receiving. Although passive reception is quite powerful as well, as all of the people that frequent sound baths attest. So yeah, developed this technique on my own. I had some inspiration from some teachers, but this particular approach to sound healing with crystal bowls in the voice is largely a combination of curiosity, willingness, and self-discovery, and persistence. And the most challenging thing I found about doing this type of work is self-consciousness. Being self-conscious, putting oneself out there. Now I do this for groups of people, and even so, it's not exactly performance anxiety, it's the courage to expose and be vulnerable and say, this is who I am, and this is what I do, and not hold back. And this message can be applied to everyone in every area of life. What you're most passionate about is often, it can be intermingled with what you're most self-conscious about for fear of rejection. I've had tons of rejection in my life. It's amazing I still fear it, but I do sometimes. And then it's just trusting that when you are aligned with your truth and you're expressing it fully, others feel that on a deep, deep unconscious level, and they're attracted to it because that is what they want for themselves. In whatever way they will express it ultimately. We all want to be the best version of ourselves, and there's a lot more resources to help us get there, right? So the resources that I provide are the sound healing, even the music. It inspires people, it opens them up. I'm sure you're thinking about ways that you just naturally being yourself and how it's inspiring other people. creating those ripples, those waves that we can either surf upon or we can get sucked under, right? What do we want? But in addition to the sound healing, crystal healing surprisingly came into my reality, and they've become so central that if you go see my booth, you'll see how central they are. What happened was, and this again is in the Energy Medicine Solutions book, I chose to talk about how I ultimately arrived at becoming a universal white time teacher. And that only happened because I followed breadcrumbs, I trusted in my intuition, and I paid attention. When I had this dream that came true and met the person in the dream and had everything in the dream happen in a unique way, I paid attention. And when I took the first class, it was life-changing for me. And ever since then, I have dedicated a large part of my life to educating myself in order to educate other people into this miraculous modality called universal white time healing. It is intricately involved with the Earth's evolving processes right now. White time healing, in a nutshell, is a customized energy healing education that higher beings who have been monitoring the development of humanity since the inception of humanity, and coinciding with the evolution or the revolution of the Earth in relation to the galactic core and the photon band and all that fun stuff, I call the galactic summer. This is a great time of year because we get to see what happens when there's more direct sunlight on the Earth. Bulbs pop up from the ground, buds spring open from trees, flowers blossom, grass grows, because there's more cosmic life force. Well, our itty-bitty little Earth has been on the outskirts of a rotation deep into the darkness on what's a grand cycle that the ancient Vedic scripts know about, called the Yugas, the Kali Yuga. Kali is their deity of death and destruction, and it's Kali Yuga named aptly so because in the elliptical evolution of our solar system around the core of the galaxy, we just finished rounding the bend of the darkest time, and we're moving into what's now a spring, the awakening, the ascension, the new earth, the fifth dimension. It's happening because we're receiving more of that cosmic life force from the central sun, or the central complex of the galaxy. That's why it's happening energetically. We're getting new energy, more energy. It's like our bodies have been operating on the low battery mode on our cell phones, right? When your cell phone's battery is done, it reduces its functionality. All of our junk DNA isn't junk, it's just offline because there's not enough cosmic life force to sustain its functioning. But that's changing. That's why we are awakening. And what is in that DNA is our clairs, our clairaudience, our clairvoyance, our clairsentience, our claircognizance, telekinesis, telepathy, all of these superhuman traits, being a medium, seeing across the veil. It's all wired within us, and some people were born with the accessibility, but now almost everyone actually is going to be having these abilities turned on at some point in their life. The Kundalini awakening triggers a lot of it for people, and it's all because we are migrating towards direct alignment with the galactic core. Well, so what, right? Well, that means it's a time of possibility, of transformation and healing. So anyway, I was guided to meet the woman and have that profound experience, and that really helped me to awaken to my awareness of my past lives, where I've worked with crystals and sound and all of the frequencies for I don't even know how long, to help heal, balance, and activate people. I believe I've incarnated in various certain situations and different planets that were going through a similar planetary ascension. As Earth is not unique, as much as we'd like to think so with our human ego, there are other planets and other systems and other races that have already ascended, and some of them decide to come here and support us. If you're familiar with Tom Kenyon, he's a very famous, well-known sound healer. He works extensively with this group of beings called the Hathors. Yes, much like the goddess Hathor in Egypt, because there were Hathors in Egypt. The Earth was more connected intergalactically. There were different star races and star portals and things. Some of them are still active, but some of them are coming back online. And the Hathors themselves ascended to the fifth dimension, and a group of them decided to come over into our solar system and guide us to do the same. So there's a lot of support from higher beings helping us. It's like I don't want to say the parents, but our mentors, our guides, our role models, right, helping us along. And so what we have to do is connect and ask and receive. And there's two crystals that I highly recommend if you know where to start. They are Lemurian seed crystals, which are a special type of quartz. They come pre-programmed. You buy a new computer, sometimes it has the nice programs like Microsoft Word already on it, right? Well, these have programs that will accelerate our awakening by activating those dormant strands of DNA, and that information is stored within them. And it's so simple to benefit. Just hold the Lemurian and get the vibration, because it's all vibrational. And certain Lemurians actually want to work and connect with certain people. I see people like walking across my booth, and they stop and they pick it up and they hand me money and they take the crystal. One woman, she had such a profound experience. She started crying because she realized she programmed that crystal herself in a past life, and she was reunited with it. These things are incredible. So the other one is Apophyllite, and I just got some really nice Apophyllite specimens. Apophyllite it enhances your healing abilities naturally, but it also opens up and makes the connection to your guides, to angels, to light beings stronger. It opens up the throat, the third eye, the crown, and even the chakras above the crown. Apophyllite is an amazing, amazing crystal for advanced spiritual work, healing with light beings and angelic forces. And the two of them together, it's perfect. The Lemurian really connects with your ancient heritage on this earth, and the Apophyllite opens you up to connect with what's happening now and into the future. And these two stones together I worked with, and when I was working with them, that's actually when I opened up to be able to channel angelic frequencies for the first time. And that's a bit of what I do with my sound healing. So, does everyone have a time check?
12:37.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, so white time healing. Does everyone remember when Reiki was considered like a cult thing?
Yeah.
Right? Everyone raise your hand, right? I was in massage school, and one of my fellow, and this was 2003, 2003, long time ago, 20 years ago. Oh my God! And they're like, there's something called Reiki. I think I'm gonna do it. And I was like, okay, whatever. But anyway, now look where Reiki is, right? Reiki has blanketed the earth and human consciousness with this beautiful foundation of healing energy. But Reiki actually has limits. And I know some people that are amazing, incredible healers, and Reiki for them is what it is for them. And it's such a beautiful thing that happened. I myself am Reiki 2 attuned, but then I came into white time. And white time essentially picks up where Reiki leaves off. Reiki has risen the vibration to the height that it was able to, but there are people that are just simply looking for more. And white time really offers that. Because white time is the healing energy that all the higher beings in the universe work with. The most ancient beings in the universe, the highest of the high, the light beings, the archangels, Jesus, God, all of those, the people and the alliances of light in the universe beyond the Galactic Federation. We're talking the most powerful, beautiful light beings in the universe. They're the ones that helped design this particular version of white time healing for us to use to accelerate our growth individually and collectively. And I'm very honored and humbled to be one of the teachers in this country, one of the pioneering teachers. It was only first taught on the planet in 1994 to a small group of people by the woman who is the main contact. Her name is Shani Shah, and she was first contacted by extraterrestrials when she was 6 years old, and they became her teachers. So instead of going to grade school, she would go on a spaceship and go out there and have lessons with other humans on different planets and meet different beings. And her entire life it was an education until she realized that she incarnated as a human, but she's in fact one of those advanced beings that had founded this modality in the earlier times of the universe. So she's a very beautiful ancient being. She's actually an archangel as well. She doesn't like people to talk about her too much, but I've had the opportunity and honor to study with her directly, and so she's been working this campaign to help humans and the Earth ascend successfully to the fifth dimension consciously. That's our goal. And what we see in the matrix and the separation, there's a lot of work to still be done. But the good news is it's going to come from the individuals carrying the frequency, hearing the call. What do? We just become loving and positive, and we put that energy out there. I told a friend of mine who his partner had a real scary medical diagnosis, and I said, there's a jar. Every day there's a jar, and you have the opportunity to fill it. Do you want to fill it with positive things, or do you want to fill it with negative things? Do you want to fill it with health and joy, or do you want to fill it with fear and worry? Right? Do you want to fill it with hate? Do you want to fill it with love? There's only the jar. So what we do is, what I like to do is to purify my energy. Whenever there's some strife or some conflict or some anger, forgiveness, just release it. Just be the positive vibration. Because we have free will. We can choose to be in the suffering. We can choose to be the victim. And we can also choose to be the champion. We can choose to be the inspiration. And that's really what I do. I came here to inspire and then to teach anyone who's willing to go down that route, and also to activate. Because we're living in a limitation, but that limitation is largely an illusion. Right? What we believe can happen can happen. We are living in the time of miracles. So, yeah. So I have some session packages. I'm in person at the Center for Higher Living in Berlin. I'm teaching on rotation. I do travel to teach. If you're interested in learning more about white time healing, or the transformational voice coaching as I call it, you can come to my booth. I've got some beautiful crystals up for adoption. And any other questions about anything? Did I cover the topic I said I was talking about? No. Yes? Yes, you get to hear me play some more. My own. I was going to pass these around. But
I actually have it's just interesting. I literally came here today, followed a breadcrumb to you. I am doing everything on green earth, meditative wise, but you are next level. This is all new to me. So I'm an infant, followed a breadcrumb. However, my heart rate won't drop.
Huh.
And it's keeping like it's right. And it's not normal, it's a situational stress.
Yeah.
I was hoping, I looked at the thing, it's 121 as I speak to you.
I get really excited, and the energies are really high. And so I can get really calm and grounded really quickly. There's some stones that help with anxiety. Also, toning might really help. Any meditative breath work, I like to tone, because on the exhale, why not make sound? So, although I did experience a holotropic breath work that was really intense, so that's a completely different creature. Yeah, we can talk. There's one of the main functions in sound healing is called entrainment. It's a natural phenomenon where, like, that's how the binaural beats work that lower people into meditative states. Entrainment just gets your natural body's functions to slow down when you are exposed to a slow tempo, for example, that's less than 60 beats per second. And like going, yeah. So you can listen to some music, again, like you asked, you can listen to music with a very slow tempo, with sort of like periodic things like inhaling and exhaling, and that will also help your physiological functions adhere to that slower pulse. So, yeah. So it could be me, but it probably.
It isn't.
So,
Squishy got broke a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm working on that.
Cool. Well, welcome. And no one is an infant. No, but I was. There was a time where I didn't know what a chakra was.
I still don't. I've tried. Just every time I try to read it, some other.
I still don't know their Sanskrit names. After 20 years.
Oh, geez, no. You can't know the Sanskrit.
No, I don't know the Sanskrit names. All right, so as promised, I'm going to end with another piece. This one's not recorded. In fact, one of my big projects I'd like to do is to
do some sort of crowdfunding to help fund the production of a second major album. But this is a piece that I hope I will do it justice. Again, I haven't played on a real piano in a while, but this is a piece that was actually commissioned by a friend of mine whose wife passed away, and she'd been suffering from Parkinson's for 20 years, and then lung cancer also. It was very grueling. He was a caregiver for 20 years, and so you can imagine that. But what was interesting is her spirit visited me and helped me compose it. And it's called Strength in Passing, and I really hope to do it justice in this awkward chair in here. And yeah, we have enough time. Is it like what?
12:46.
Yeah, that should be good. They'll kick me out. It's fine. All right, without further ado. So yes, we are living in an unprecedented time. Earth's frequency is rising whether we like it or not, and we can have a joyous experience or a struggle. The choice is ultimately ours, and there are resources to help us have a harmonious experience in this lifetime that we can really expand and rise and become greater than we had ever possibly considered ourselves to be, because the divine has a plan and the divine will succeed, and we get to participate at the level of our choosing. No judgment. So I honor everyone's path, and I honor everyone who's come here today, and I hope to see you at my booth or at an event or a class or whatever. And thank you very much for coming. I will be here tomorrow. I will be at the Passport for Health in Bristol, and I will be at the Soul Light Expo at Mohegan Sun. So hope to see you again. Thank you.